Awesome. So we are recording. So welcome to the Project Fit podcast. I've got an awesome guest today, Gillian Davies. Gillian, do you want to introduce yourself and tell the listeners exactly who you are, what you do, and who you help?
So hi everybody, and thanks to you, Greg, for inviting me onto your podcast. So my name's, as you said, Gillian Davies. So I'm a health and fitness coach where I help women who are feeling overwhelmed and stuck to actually start to take charge of their health and fitness again. So a lot of the time the women have a history of either being on and off diets and don't quite know how to manage their diets anymore, or also they've maybe put themselves lower on the priority list, and I work with them to get themselves back up there again so that they start to feel fabulous, really. So yeah, and that's where I am at the minute, so helping lots of lovely women to feel fab.
Based, or are you online, or what?
So yeah, I work online now. I have been a PT in a studio, and over the last year, once I relocated back to my hometown, and I then took it on to an online version, and I've been running it remotely ever since. So, because a lot of the time, most of it is down to nutrition and lifestyle, which I know I can offer a lot more online than, absolutely, than, I love doing the workouts, the exercise, but yes, we can manage that as well, but definitely a lot of it can be managed online. So so that's how I do it now.
Awesome. And so where are you based? Where do you live? Sorry.
So I'm from Northern Ireland, so in a town called Newry in Northern Ireland. So it's about halfway between Dublin and Belfast for anyone that needs a geography lesson.
It's like that way.
Yeah. Go to Belfast, go south. Cool. It's right on the border basically of Northern Ireland. So cool.
I've been to Carnlough before. This is on the coast.
Right.
That's the only bit I really know. I've been to Dublin, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's where I am. So.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I've just like I said, just over a year ago, I relocated. So I was living in England for the last 20 years, and after a stint of university and all sorts of jobs and things I got there. So
Now you're home again.
Awesome. Now I'm home again. Yeah.
So I guess the first question I'm going to ask is, because I think the clients that you work with are similar to mine in that, busy professional women who are just lost. Like they've tried everything. They don't know what to do. What are the biggest problems that people come to you with? And the big problems that you see out of your clients?
So I think, just from my own history, I have come from corporate world, which I left 3 years ago, and just through work-related stress and things like that there. So I know what it's like to be on that verge of burnout. Mm-hmm. And trying to maintain lots of things in my, and I think a lot of it, women take on a lot somehow, that they've got to be able to manage lots of different things. And I think inherently we're kind of built that way to be, we're more the carers, shall we say, and that's the way we've been designed. But and I think the biggest thing is that women, one, I think alluded to already, is about them actually not looking after themselves as much as maybe other people, or people pleasing in work, people pleasing other people to outside of work, friends, family, taking that huge responsibility and trying to help lots of people at the detriment to their own health, really. And again, I'm speaking from experience with that. So I have been, my previous job, I traveled a lot. I worked remotely then because my headquarters was based in Holland.
Right. Okay.
So I worked remotely in the UK, in and out of, it was in clinical diagnostics. So it was in, so I used to go into all the hospital labs in the NHS. And so I used to travel a lot and have to work remotely as well. So I didn't always have an office or people to go and see as well. Sometimes that's fine, sometimes that isn't. But trying to maintain that, and also I had to sacrifice a lot of kind of enjoyment and hobbies and missing out on things. And I think we tend to think that we have to do that in order to kind of succeed in life a little bit. And I see that with other women trying to push on in their careers or their promotions, but to the detriment of giving up so much time and things that they enjoy that make them feel good.
Yep.
That they actually lose that balance in life. Well, I wouldn't say balance, it's not a 50-50, but lose that sort of integration, so shall I say, for themselves. So
I guess it almost becomes 80% work and everybody else and 20% them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they feel lost, burnt out all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's how you must have felt. So that's freaky, actually, because I used to work in the NHS myself.
I did the NHS. So from university, I was biomedical scientist. So
oh wow, okay, awesome.
And I did that.
Which hospital?
It was in Liverpool. So
okay.
I used to work in the entry in Liverpool. So
small world. See, ex NHS as well.
Yeah,
I used to run gynecology and maternity for my sins.
Oh wow, okay.
I know, crazy. But hey, it helped me learn a lot, right? So
yeah.
Hey.
Well, it becomes a very process-driven thing, doesn't it? So yeah.
Well, I don't know. Some of the things I saw. Well, there's no processes for that. I don't. Okay. So,
and just how that plays out then, I suppose, is women turn to then they don't exercise as much. They aren't as active throughout the day because this work schedule becomes chaotic, or they are so knackered and so mentally worn down, or with stress and pressures, that almost eating becomes survival. So it's grab anything when you can, and if you're lucky, or that bottle of wine looks the best thing at the end of the night just to alleviate the stress, so all those habits start to materialize then in some way to kind of, I suppose, escape or relax or decompress.
But do you feel that kind of creates this kind of self-perpetuating circle, right? So you get really tired, so you do more things to make yourself more tired, then wake up feeling more tired. I don't know. Is that what?
It's a vicious circle. Yeah. Absolutely. And it becomes that, and obviously, and that's when it's only so long your body will kind of let you do that before it decides to give up, and that's maybe why we see a lot of kind of mental health issues arising then as well from that. But also as well, and obviously either weight gain or, changing in body composition in some way is another consequence of that sort of lifestyle, and that can materialize too. So it's starting to unpick that really, and helping women going, right, what's your life looking like now, and how do you want it to look like really, and nutrition and lifestyle really is a big part of that. So
I'd say it's the biggest part of the whole pie, right? It's I think often the women that I work with anyway, when they come to me, they're looking for some super duper program that's going to make them into an absolute beast in the gym, and and then when they kind of work out, I'm getting them to train less but focus on themselves a bit more, and the results happen. They're like, oh yeah. Does that happen to you quite often?
Yeah, because they always think that it's got to be some big radical change in their lives, and the key is to start looking at where they are now and what's the kind of low-hanging fruit that they can start to change straight away. Yeah. Without it really being a big change. You know what I mean? It's little things, the little habits. So it's the, how active are you at the minute, right? Okay, can we try to increase that in some way? Does that mean, and it's not sexy, it's not amazing, it's not groundbreaking, it's common sense, but it isn't always common practice though. That's the thing.
Do you know what? We could talk about this stuff. I'm gonna have to get you on another time live and do all that stuff. So yeah, so what are the kind of the first kind of basics that you get people to really start? Let's say someone walks in, calls you up, says, right, I need your help. What are the first kind of 2 or 3 things you're going to look at when you work with someone?
So the first thing I always get someone to do is like, I need to understand. So I can't be living with you 24/7 for the next week, but I need to understand what your week looks like, what you're doing in terms of sleeping, activity, eating, what you're eating, when you're eating, and any other sort of hobbies or commitments that you have in your week. Because that gives me an idea of time, how you're feeling every day, those sorts of things, and how you actually live your life. Because without that, then it's guesswork basically. And maybe that's my background as well. If you like, I can relate this back to my background in my previous career, because I actually used to help labs transform. So now I'm kind of like helping people's lives transform, where you need to have that someone taking that big picture view of everything that's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Because there's so many moving parts, and then being able to see, right, okay, that's awareness for you. That's the first step. That's your main awareness, right? What do we need to do to kind of change that for you to feel fitter, healthier, lose a bit of weight? Because there's huge research about weight loss is good for your health, all being a certain weight. And then we can start to kind of tackle bit by bit. And so with those things. So big one for me, Greg, is sleep is always a huge one. I want to know how much water they're drinking is a big one. I want to know then how they're eating, do they actually get to eat enough during the day? Because I come across that a lot.
So what, not eating during the day, but then when they get home or on the home, it's like everything. It's like
anything, yeah. And it's like this uncontrollable need then to kind of eat, because they're at home, they're relaxed, they're they're a bit more chilled out, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, I want everything to eat.
A crazy thing that I often see is that a lot of the ladies I coach don't take lunch breaks. Now that I just think that's bonkers. Although I used to do something similar. I used to just work right through and then wonder why I was starving hungry and mentally fatigued as well. So is that something you find as well?
Absolutely. A lot of the women, the busy professional women, so they work in like in big IT organizations or financial organizations, and there is a lot of meetings and calls and dial-ins and everything throughout the day, because they're working on a lot of the companies are multinational, so they're across the globe, so there are lots of different time zones as well to manage. So this whole kind of stopping for a lunch break, you can still sit and eat, but you've got to be at your desk on a call type of thing. And that's always one key area I always try and get people to do, is to actually eat away from the desk, just to go and sit and actually eat on its own. Nothing else. You're not doing anything else at the same time. One activity is to eat, and that's it, is to focus on your food. And
it's crazy, isn't it, that I think we always try to multitask, don't we? It's like, I have to be doing everything all at once. This crazy mindset we have. So one of the things I do as well is I get them to take a lunch break and actually just go for a walk at lunch. Like, eat obviously, and then just go for a walk. Even if it's a 5-10 minute walk, just get away from your desk. Like, it's so underestimated, I think. Just taking that screen break for everything, your eyes, health. Yeah. Go on.
Your brain as well. Yeah, like you said, the mental fatigue as well was it's just actually letting your brain not to be thinking about complex things all the time. Is to give it a break and to walk away from that. Now, I have to say, like, in my previous job, when I went to the headquarters, there was a whole group of them that always went out for a walk after they've had lunch, and they always had lunch together. There was one key area, so there was about maybe 50 odd people, but everyone came down and they made their lunch. There was a kitchen and everything available in this workplace. So they all came down, and there was some food provided so you could make your own lunch, and everybody came down and ate together. And then there was a group, if anyone wanted to go for a walk, they always went for a walk.
Oh,
and I always used to think, going, who has time for that? I used to be the one that you go, huh? Now I'm like, oh my God, why don't more places do that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but do you find that actually when you've implemented some of these changes that people actually perform better?
Yeah, totally. It's like, you know, just the productivity, just even to, you know, that's when our brain is at its most creative, is when it's relaxed, you know. That's why whenever you're not thinking about a problem, you could be doing something, you know, people come up with the best solution.
I need to pause it for 1 sec. Stay there 1 sec.
Okay.
Yep, go on. So yeah, performance gets better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that's why, you know, you always hear these, the most complex of problems tend to be solved when you're in the shower or something like that. You know, you're doing something completely mundane. Your brain's relaxed. It's tapping into that different part of your brain where you've got your creativity, as opposed to, you know, the stress part of your brain where we tend to be mentally fatigued a lot. And that's what people as well, when they come home, because they're so tired, that they're actually mentally fatigued. They're not actually physically fatigued. But
which is why they feel like
you actually need the physical movement as well. So,
oh yeah, because I was going to say that actually one of the things that often happens is I'm so tired from my day at work that I can't exercise. When actually your physical body, like you say, is fine. It's actually screaming for some movement.
Yeah.
Because you're so mentally drained, you're just like, oh, I can't be asked to move.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that can be a big factor. But the thing is, yeah, and it's just making yourself actually get over that inertia and just doing something. So, you know, breaking it down into, right, well, okay, instead of saying that you're going to do a 20-minute workout or something, just put your shoes on and maybe say, right, I'll just do 10 squats and just start on something, and then all of a sudden you'll kick into it.
Yeah. I know. I think we mentioned when we did a live before, and I kind of just said, look, just JFDI, right? Just get on with it. Like, yeah. I think we procrastinate to the point sometimes of it actually just makes us freeze. Does that make sense? You kind of, I'll do it tomorrow. Before you know it, you've got 10, I'll do it tomorrows, and then you're just like, I don't know what to do at all. But I guess that's where having a coach, a bit like you, comes in very handy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just being able to see those. It's like almost like you can preempt those things are going to happen because you know, you speak to people, and you know, and how you hear people and what they say, it becomes the same thing a lot, doesn't it? And you hear it a lot. And again, my own experience, I know what it's like to be feeling that way too. So I've been there, you know, and it's kind of, you know, it's getting away from the other thing is the mentality of this all or nothing. You either have to be completely on it. And I think that plays a lot, you know, oh, if I can't get in and do do the full workout, there's no point doing it, you know, there's no point going, or no point doing it. And I think we just need to realize that every little thing that you do will build up into have the effect that you want at some point.
Every rep counts.
Yeah,
I have that some of mine. They're like, even if they're running late to a session, I'm like, just come and train. Like, seriously, do the half hour. The half hour make you feel better than sitting on the sofa going, I wish I'd done that training session.
Yeah, totally.
So how do you deal with people who've got kind of unrealistic expectations? So, you know, let's say Shelley from down the road, you may have heard of her before, comes to you, right, Gillian, I want to have a 6-pack in 12 weeks. How do you deal with that kind of situation when you can see it from a coach's eye, the expert eye, that's not going to happen? How would you deal with that situation?
Well, first of all, I'd ask her if she's ever had a 6-pack.
Okay.
Because that previous experience will tell me how realistic that actually is or how close she's ever been to that. And in order to achieve something like that, you know, a 6-pack is achievable for some people in that time frame, but yeah, I need to know what her starting point is and what her previous experience is, and also to see whether having something like a six-pack is actually really what she wants. You know, why would she want that?
Yeah.
What is it going to give her that she feels, you know, is it for a competition? Is it necessary for her to have a six-pack? To be honest, women, the way we're designed, six-pack's not really actually healthy for us, shall I say. Some people, it's natural for them, but for most of us, to maintain that is not actually healthy. So
It's funny, actually, when you look through, say, Instagram, and you look through some of the women that are really lean, you can almost see the strain in their faces at having to try and maintain that level of, you know, that how many, you know, they're doing kind of 5 bouts of half an hour to an hour of cardio a week, plus their weight training, plus they're on really low calories. And it's just not sustainable for, especially for the people that we deal with who've got to perform at work as well as, you know, in the gym or whatever. Yeah. So I think it's really, really, and I think what you said about why do you want to get that goal, is don't question often enough.
Yeah. What's it going to give you? How is it going to change your life now? Or, you know, what's it going to mean that you'll do more of, or you'll stop doing that you're not doing? You know, what is it? How is your life going to change basically by achieving that goal? And that's the key thing, is to kind of attach it and associate it in some way. And that's really when you'll start to kind of understand how much how much of a goal it actually is, or although I don't deal with anyone that does want that, because I know it's not actually, certainly around my age group, it's not really
Well, you're only about 25, right?
I wish. But yeah, it's not really achievable, because most women maybe around my age would have had kids and things like that there, so they just don't think that's ever even gonna, you know, not that's ever, but you know, it's not a priority. It wouldn't be something that most people would want. So
yeah, I think it's just
partly because it does require quite a lot of discipline as well. So
it's about doing the work, right? So same thing about someone who wants to get from a size 20 to a size 12 in 12 weeks. It's like, no. So just give me your thoughts around nutrition. How should people eat more and eat better? Or what are the kind of challenges around people's nutrition that you find?
So I think, like, the key one is just ensuring that people are getting a good variety of food. So I like to have a lot of flexibility in my eating, and how I kind of help people as well. There is obviously still there's a big thing for a lot of plant-based proteins at the minute, you know, to move away from animal products, which I can understand people will do it, but I wouldn't want to do it at the detriment to health as well. So, and I think there's a gap between that understanding with people, but that's a different topic. So.
Hey, we can go there. We can go there. I like these kind of topics. I think the more we explore this kind of stuff, the more that people listen to this and watch us back will go, hopefully will put some light bulbs in their mind that fat loss and health they're connected, but they are different. So yeah, I totally agree with the whole, I'm going to go vegan all of a sudden, or vegetarian. When do you need to? Is it going to add more stress? I don't know. Yeah.
Because it's not an easy transition. It's not an easy thing to do. And also as well, you've got to know how your body is going to go, because by removing, you know, a whole food group, whether it's meat and any other animal products as well, you're essentially restricting nutrients to your diet. Yep. And that's going to have an effect on your health, basically. Whether we're talking about weight loss, or yes, you're probably going to restrict calories as well, but it's to make that clear that doing that sort of transition, it's not, unless you are prepared to back it up in with various different products, it can be very difficult to do. So, so I know a lot of women that I have worked with, you know, they are either sort of vegetarian, and I think people are because of the media, be more environmentally conscious, and they are starting to worry about their impact of eating meat. And so I think, a lot of it has come from media and everything else as well. Though at the end of the day, having a bit of balance, yes, have more plant-based foods in your diet will probably mean that people will feel better, because they're probably increasing their vegetable intake, and they're also increasing their fiber intake, because they're eating more beans and pulses and things like that than what they were before.
Yeah.
And if that's the situation, then you will feel better and you probably will feel healthier.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily because of the diet as such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got you.
So
I think,
I'm going off on a tangent.
No. Listen, tangent all you want. This is for. I'm free with this stuff. Like, just tangent as much as you want.
So my approach is always, I don't, not to just cut out food groups because of what you eat and what you think is the end thing to do. Again, the low carb or the keto diet or the, all these things in a bid to either, to lose weight or change your body composition, really following those sorts of kind of diets, there's only probably maybe so long before you'll start to actually want to change it again, or you're not getting what you want out of it. So I always try and keep as much flexibility really in the diets, and show people how to have that flexibility, really, how they can still enjoy those things. Eat carbs, yes, if you want to eat bread, that's what I sometimes get. It was like, oh, I eat too much bread, and I was like, well, yeah. I was like, well, how much is too much? What, 20 loaves a day, or what are you talking about?
It's funny because I put a post up on Facebook yesterday just asking people to tell me why they can't lose weight, and whenever you do these things, it's always interesting. So the classic one is bread. I'm like, what did the bread do to you? Like, and chocolate and ice cream, right? And I'm like, okay, so you have one ice cream a day or one chocolate bar a day. It's 250 calories, give or take. Where's the other 1,600 calories? But we're so fixated on this one chocolate bar or this one slice of bread. Never mind the slavering of mayonnaise on it and the ham and the cheese and the butter and everything else that goes with it. But it's always the bread. What? Where does this come from? Like,
yeah, and again, it's from the back of the low carb thing, So people think that carbs, have then or you need to reduce sugar. Sugar's bad as well. So, and I was like, well, it's not. It's not. One thing does not cause, a change in your health or weight or whatever. It's not just one thing. So
yeah, it's trying to get people to think from a multi-faceted. I think everyone wants one thing to blame, so then it makes
it's easy then.
But when it is like you say, you have to look at the whole lifestyle. You have to look at your stress, sleep, your activity, your nutrition, exercise, and mindset and habits. I think is also a massive one as well. So, what kind of myth out there really, really frustrates you about diet and exercise? There's got to be one that really just makes you want to tear those curls out. I can't take this shit anymore.
Well, I've probably already touched on it. The carbs are some way bad. Oh,
yeah.
That's oh, let me think now. What's the other ones? I think kind of one of the key ones is the one that I learned of was about, having a kebab late at night was always gonna, eating late. Actually, it was eating late at night was always the one that you can't eat late at night.
Yeah.
I suppose was one, but as well, I think as well, actually, the one that I was trying to think of was the having food to absorb your alcohol late at night. That kebab on the way home.
Yeah.
You have that. You're all right. You're good. You're all right. That'll absorb the alcohol was always one. I'm trying to think now, Greg.
Wow. But obviously, I think it's weird. The women that we work with, I guess, carbs just seem to be this really big enemy. And I'm like, yeah, but you saw those cakes you just ate. They're probably not helping you as well. So it's not the bread. It's maybe the fact that you're having 600 calories worth of cake on top of your dinner.
Yeah.
I think also as we're, and hey, this is probably more personal to you maybe than me, more so, but I think menopause seems to be a really big factor as to why women can't lose weight, or whether that be peri or post menopausal. Seems to be a massive one. I can't lose weight because my hormones. That's really sad. I think actually that ladies box themselves into this box because of which I understand is a life-changing event. It changes things, but doesn't mean it can happen. You can't actually get awesome results.
No, totally. And if anything, the doing exercise and being more active is the one way that you are actually going to help the symptoms of menopause, or going through those changes anyhow, and as well afterwards. Maintaining back to health related. It's maintaining the bone density to prevent osteoporosis. It's to manage your blood sugar levels through exercise, so we don't find ourselves falling into that insulin resistance, as we go later on in life. It's all those things will actually really help. And I think as well, it's just sometimes as well, I think when women, like I find that women getting to a certain age, some women maybe in their mid to late 50s, or maybe, well, actually early to mid 50s, and they think, are maybe on the cusp of that change in their lives as well. And for them to actually physically push themselves is almost like something that they don't do. It's too late in life almost. It's almost like this, I'm on the scrap heap now, so there's no point almost. Or they're never going to be strong enough, or they're never going to have, it's.
I'm always big boned. It's my genetics. Too late for me. I mean, I've got a client. I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning her name. I call her Mrs. A. She's 50 plus. That's all I'll say, because she'll beat me if I say her age on public. But she's strong, pretty lean. And I've got a few other clients who are like that. They can do awesome. They can do things I can't do. And I'm like, this ain't right. But I think a lot of it is mindset. Definitely.
I think one key thing that just kind of came to me there, Greg, was that one thing with women that I found, and that we're always trying to go back to the person that we used to be before we had kids, or before I hit my mid-40s, or before I hit menopause, or before, it's always trying to somehow go back in time, as opposed to, that's one thing, is to actually go, we've changed, we all change. We're now have to accept who we are now and what we're prepared to do to change our future. We can't change the past. And I think that plays up a lot, because I get that with, when I speak to clients now, that, like when I was in my 20s, I used to do so many things. I was so active. I was so this. And I'm like, but your life was different then. Your life, you probably didn't have as much responsibility. Maybe you were financially more free. You were, whatever it was, all these things alter and change and shape us some way. And it's just, it's starting from that level of acceptance that this is who we are. So, like I said, I gather the lifestyle data by understanding what their life, that awareness, but also to then start to accept that that's who you are now. And this is your starting point, not back then. And we're not going back to then. We're trying to.
I can't agree with you more on that. I think, what I say to people now is like, love yourself now, not your 20-year-old version of you when you were out partying every night at uni or whatever you did. Like, just love yourself now, because when you get to your future, you need to love that person too. So it just starts now. If you love yourself now, any change you want to make in your life, you'll do it with love, and you'll feel better about doing it, rather than trying to worry about being what you were. And it's the same for men as well. We're all trying to squat 200 kg, and then your knee goes, that's it, can't do it anymore. But but you can still look awesome, but you just have to
adapt.
It's not a box. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it totally, and I'm the same. I like said to my clients, and because we all change. I'm not, no way am I exercising anywhere near like I used to when I was like in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Like then I was just like hammering all sorts of stuff, and probably my weekends were a lot more hellraiser than what they are now as well. But that's fine. That's not what I'm doing now. But and it's that adaptation now that I do it more for enjoyment. But it's because of all that I can still maintain it now as well. So
it's not just your genes or you're so lucky. It is actually just because you work it within the parameters you've got and what you know is acceptable to you.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's fundamentally why I kind of got into the health and fit. I've always had that health and fitness in me, and always that need to help people. And that's that 3 years ago I decided to actually go into it, and I was always seen as the sporty one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always been a part of me anyhow. So to do that, so and that's kind of where a lot of women, they have done stuff in the past, but it's now trying to find what's their go-to now, and what they enjoy now, and what they're prepared to do, and so just to change it.
All starts with what you're prepared to do, Yeah, I totally agree. Well,
Yeah.
we need to kind of wrap this up, or else we're going to be talking fast. Because I had another 5 questions. I've written down about 4 more questions. No, leave it, Greg. Save it for another time. So thank you. So do you just want to tell the listeners where they can find you, kind of social media type stuff?
Oh yeah, probably cover any social media channel. I can't even say that. I'm all talking about the teeth are falling out now. So any social media channel, shall I say? So Facebook, yeah. So it's my Facebook page, Gillian Davies Health and Fitness, or I have got a free group at the minute, which is about to change name, but it's called Rev Up Your Health Community as well.
Nice.
And also, LinkedIn, just under Gillian Davies, and also on Instagram, Gillian Davies Coach, as well as my Instagram handle, if anyone wants to check out anything.
Awesome. So I'm hoping that I'll have you back on at some point.
Yeah.
So I think there's a whole plethora of things that we could go into.
Well, we started touching on the real women's side of things as well, and you could go way deeper.
All right, so should we do that, right? What we'll do is next time we'll do like a menopause type discussion. That'll be
women's health.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be brilliant. Okay, thank you for your time, and we'll catch base very, very soon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks again, Greg. All right.
Take care.
See you then.